And thank you, Mindy, for giving us this opportunity.
Oh no, I'm so glad to be on with you guys. Thank you for doing this. Look, you put out a new record and you want the whole world to see it and hear it and everything. So
Well, I'm gonna mention that because I thought this was a good idea because the song is April, and me and Mr. Walker's birthday. Mr. Walker's was a couple of days ago, and mine's the 25th.
well, happy birthday to you both.
Yeah, so you can.
I like how you're Mr. Walker. I don't know, but
That's right.
yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, you guys can talk about that yourselves later. Yeah.
Hello, hello, Kansas City and the KUAW listeners. We are for a special interview. I'm Professor Smooth Jazz with the Smooth Jazz Radio Show on KUAW every Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m., 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. And our special guest today from her website, I'm going to read this, one of the most recognized and sought after saxophonist, two-time Grammy nominee, Mindi Abair. Hello, Mindy. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to have you on and talk to the Kansas City listeners and tell them just who this famous saxophonist is. And when they hear you on the radio, now they get to see who you are.
You know what? I love this. Thanks for having me on your show. It's always good to sit and talk to the professor, right?
Oh,
Oh, and I've got smiles for you. There you go.
oh, oh man, I would have expected that. Well, thank you. So Mindy, you said you were born in Florida, and you
Born-
also that was where St. Petersburg, is it?
I was born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida. But actually, the first few years of my life, I was born there, but then they carted me off in the band truck. My father was in a blue-eyed soul band called the Entertainers, and they just
Mm-hmm.
traveled. So we didn't really have a house. I was born in Florida, but
Mm-hmm.
they just took me on the road. So for the next 4 or 5 years, I was just traveling with the band. And when the band broke up, because every band breaks up,
Mm-hmm.
we moved back to Florida, and I was there until college.
Okay, so your family, you come from a family of musicians, huh? So when did you
Some of
kind
them.
of start? When did you
Some of
start?
them are musicians, some of them aren't. My father played saxophone
Mm-hmm.
and B3,
Mm-hmm.
and he was that sax player that walked the bar and shimmied and shaked and,
Mm-hmm.
knocked his knees together.
Mm-hmm.
He was super high energy and fun. And my grandmother was an opera singer, and she was
Oh,
that
okay.
stereotypical, just, big
Mm-hmm.
personality, big woman.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I had some crazy different kinds of music going on all around me all the time. So it was definitely a fun way to grow up, and I think it allowed me to kind of have music as my normal, which is a beautiful thing.
Okay. So when did you start, and what instrument did you? Was it always saxophone? Or?
I first started on piano. I think my
Mm-hmm.
parents were tired of me, you know, knocking around on the piano and just making noise. So they
Mm-hmm.
started me with piano lessons when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And saxophone, I started in school band. And I was
Mm-hmm.
total product of, school band. My teacher, Ann Reynolds, she just put every instrument out on the ground in the band room. I was in eighth grade. I was in fourth grade. I was 8 years
Mm-hmm.
old. And boy, I looked around and I saw the saxophone and I just thought, you know what? My dad looks like he's having a blast playing it every night.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked so fun. It looked like a party, and it was raucous, and it could whisper, and it was like a human voice, like an extension of yourself. And that's what it became for me. I chose saxophone and never looked back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then, because you know you in 2014 that's when you received your what first Grammy nomination? Yeah, for
Yeah.
best pop instrument category. Okay,
Yeah.
and then you also were nominated for Best Contemporary Instrumental, but in 2015,
Yeah.
and you had
First time
a
around.
solo LP, Wild Heart. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, now some of the first time I think I heard you, and the first CD I purchased was "It Happens That Way."
It just happens that way.
Yeah, it
Wow,
just
you're
happens
going
that
back.
way.
This is
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah, yeah. But so what happened was we had a jazz radio station here at 98.5 with Michelle Chase over at Go Grove. And so I used to listen. So after it went to a different format, so then I was like, man, how am I going to listen to music? And so I remembered some of those artists that were played on the, spun on the show. And so some of them, they were like Eric Marienthal, and I
Yeah.
didn't know exactly how to spell it, but when I went to the music store and I saw, I said, "That's it, Yeah, that's it, Marienthal." So that's how you spell it. So that's probably about the time I started buying. I think they went out in 2002 or something like that, somewhere. Yeah, and so I start, but I remember some of my favorites was Lucy Flirt,
Nice.
Save the Last Dance, and then I remember Come As You Are.
Yep, that
I
was the
got
next
that
record the
one
next
too.
year.
Yeah, yeah.
You've
But
been in since the start.
yeah. But you had a CD before the It Just Happens That Way, didn't you?
I did. It's been really interesting. Look, the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
has made us all, kind of slow
Yeah.
down and
Mm-hmm.
be in our house and, kind of
Mm-hmm.
get ourselves together for a year. Uh, but I started looking through my old music, and just kind of was looking through everything going, there's so much music. My first CD came out in 2000. I was, before I had a solo career, I played for a lot of people. My career didn't start as a solo artist. I wanted it to. I really just wanted to make records and write and play and
Mm-hmm.
sing. But people started hiring me to play with them. Bobby
Mm-hmm.
Lyle hired me
Mm-hmm.
off the street. Literally, I was playing on the street on Third Street Promenade, a couple miles from here. And I started touring with Jonathan Butler, Bobby Lyle, Tina Marie,
Mm-hmm.
the Backstreet Boys,
Mm-hmm.
Adam Sandler,
Mm-hmm.
all these people. So during the Backstreet Boys tour, I had, you know, spots here and there to come home for a couple days. And I just decided to make a record. I was writing all these songs. So my
Mm-hmm.
first record came out in the year 2000, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
pop rock record. And it was
Mm-hmm.
me singing. I only played sax once or twice on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first record, but it was indie. And it wasn't until my second record in 2003 that you had It Just Happens
Mm-hmm.
That Way that really broke through, that all of a sudden we were getting played on radio, and we had all this press, and people just really embraced it. And that was just the start of, my career snowballing and kind of coming into my own as a solo artist. And it was super fun. And it's been fun to go through that music. Now it's been 21 years of
Mm-hmm.
me making records, and it was just a blast to kind of try and tell my story in the liner notes and song by song on this album. We chose 19 songs for the best of record. It was cool. And Lucy's and Flirt are in there, and so is
I,
Come As You Are. So
yeah,
I
that's
love
right.
that you
I
say
looked.
those.
Yeah, I looked at when I was looking at it. I saw that one, and so when I took a note of that Bobby Lau Power of Touch because I remember uh, I have that CD, and I remember I think it had the keys on it or something like that on it,
Yeah,
and
he
so
was
I was
playing.
trying to remember.
He was playing a girl had a, I think it was his wife, had
Uh-huh.
like a sweater on her shirt that was like a
Yeah,
keyboard.
yeah. So I remember that album when I looked at it. I said, "Oh, I remember this CD." I'm saying, "No, I'm gonna have to look at it because maybe I didn't." Check the credits and or either I did and I just forgot because that was a long time ago. I stashed it
Yeah.
away, put it in order, and so I haven't put it out in a while. Oh.
I talked to Bobby a couple of weeks ago, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what? He was just an amazing guy that I mean, like I said, I moved to Los Angeles and I didn't know anyone. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do what I do. I wanted to play saxophone and sing and play and make music. I didn't want to, say, do you want fries with that? I was just like,
Mhm.
I'm a player. Come on. So I played on the street. That was my answer to it all. I had to pay the rent. And
Mhm.
so, boy, here comes Bobby, and he hired me off the street. He's like, I'm making a record. It was The Power of
Mhm.
Touch. And
Mhm.
he goes, the sax players in my band always go on to great things. They always leave me for great solo careers.
Mhm.
And he goes, you'll be next. And I just
Oh,
thought,
really?
wow,
Mhm.
okay. And
Mhm.
sure enough, Everett Harp had been in his band,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
Gerald Albright.
Mhm.
And so what a beautiful thing to be
Mhm.
next.
So, and I took some more notes. So, Smokey Robinson and trombone Shorty, Lee Ritenour, yeah, is there some Duran
Yeah,
Duran?
recorded with some cool people.
Yeah, and Peter White, is it Layla Hathaway too, huh?
Yeah, we were college buddies. We were
Oh,
in the
okay.
same class at Berklee College of Music, and
Ah,
we've just remained friends all
mhm,
through the years. I just thought, when you're in college, you're finding yourself,
mhm,
and you find yourself together. But she always was something special, and she just had this magic about her. Even when she
mhm,
was 18 years old, you just knew she was destined for greatness. That voice and that aura. So she recorded with me on a couple CDs. She did It's a Man's World, which
mhm,
is epic if you go
mhm.
back and
Okay.
check that
Yeah,
version out that we did
I want to
together.
check it out. Yeah.
Gives me chills just thinking about it. She's the real thing.
So we were talking about now. How did you go to smooth jazz? Transfer over to smooth jazz.
You know what? I grew up a rocker girl, and
Yeah.
I was listening to Aerosmith and Heart.
Yeah.
I wanted to be
Hmm.
Tina Turner.
Hmm.
I just thought it was so fun to just give everything and have so much energy when you play.
Hmm.
And I had a real gift in college that my saxophone professor Joe Viola said to me, start your own band, figure out what you have to say as an artist, start it now, become comfortable in your own skin, figure out what you're going to write, figure out who you are as a band leader. And I did that. And I was learning what jazz was in college because I had never listened to jazz before college, and I was just
Hmm.
immersed. I wanted to buy every Miles Davis record
Hmm.
and every David Sanborn record. David Sanborn was like the missing link for me,
Hmm.
because I loved all this pop and rock, but here was David
Hmm.
Sanborn on a David Bowie record and
Hmm.
on a James Taylor record, and I
Hmm.
just thought he was super hip. And then I saw him live, and he was like a lead singer of a pop band, but with a saxophone. And I just thought, wait, I can be the lead singer with this saxophone. He totally made me realize that I could use that as a front person. And that was a cool realization. So, hey, look, the smooth jazz radio format was the coolest place to be for making instrumental music that was different and cool. There is a tradition of jazz. I didn't grow up with that. I wasn't going to play Stella by Starlight on my records every night. It was, I wanted to play music that I wrote and push the boundaries and kind of put it in pop and soul and rock in there. So smooth jazz radio was what really embraced me, and what a beautiful thing. I've embraced so many artists making interesting instrumental music.
Yeah. Well, that smooth jazz genre, some of it, it's it, the definition is it is influenced by all those different types of music
Yeah, yeah. So
and
it's cool
putting
that
it
there's
kind
a
of in
place where we can
instrumental
all
form.
go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And but then there's also a connection uh, after the smooth jazz to blues kind of blues sound.
Yeah.
And you had at one, what was the CD you had? The first CD, I think it was. Let's see. I know you were. Oh, you were also on American Idol too, huh?
Oh yeah. No, I was
Yeah,
on
so
two.
movie star.
I was
Oh, and
on
the late
two.
night show, David Letterman, and oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was on
Jimmy
two
Fallon.
seasons of
Oh,
American Idol.
hmm
And the last season was the season that Philip Phillips won. And I was playing
hmm
with him in every,
hmm
in everything he did.
hmm
And the last episode, the finale,
hmm
I got a call. I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't hired for it. And I got a call from American Idol, like, get down here, bring every saxophone you have. You are on the finale with
Oh,
Philip.
okay.
And I
hmm
was like, oh, okay. And then I got another phone call from whoever, and they were like, come on, we got to do this. What's going on? And it was Steven Tyler,
hmm
who was a judge
Oh
at
yeah.
that point, but Steven
hmm
Tyler from Aerosmith. And we got to do this. You got to come to my trailer. Time's running out. And I just thought, what? And I ended up going on the road with Aerosmith, which was super fun after doing American Idol.
Okay.
Good
So
for
and
me as rocker girl to kind of expand.
yeah, yeah. So and on your website, it said you had 12 number one hits in the jazz and blues world, number one spots on the Billboard Contemporary Jazz Album charts, and two number three spots on the Billboard Blues Album chart. So that's why I was kind of wondering how how the blues and the jazz, how to me, jazz was a little faster, blues was it's kind of a little slower.
One of my friends, Jeff Golub, I think said it
Oh
really
yeah.
well. He said, jazz is just blues gone to college.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was just the way to express it. Blues is the just the root of everything.
hmm
And, it's such an emotive art form, and it's
hmm
American music.
hmm
Not everything uh, is that special, but
hmm
this started in America.
hmm
And I just think there's something about the blues that is just so satisfying as a player. I play it, and it's just it's awesome. It moves me. So I did four or five albums with a band that we formed called Mindi Abair and the Bone Shakers.
hmm hmm
And we had a blast. We did all the blues festivals. We were on blues radio. We just lived it. And it was so much fun. We just loved every second. So making music with those guys was awesome. And I think as an artist, you have to
hmm
follow your muse. Some of my
hmm
favorite artists, David Sanborn or Miles
hmm
Davis, Ricky Lee Jones,
hmm
Linda Ronstadt, they followed their muse, and they were incredibly
hmm
proficient with the
hmm
instruments they had,
hmm
but they did what was interesting to them, and that interested me. So I've always hoped my followers and listeners would go along with me for the ride, and I'm back to making smooth jazz and things that are a little more personal than just the blues rock of Mindi Abair and the Bone Shakers. But
hmm
it's just been this fun journey for me, and inspiring to make music with people I love and have fun doing it.
Okay. Yes. So and so in 2018, that's when the Mindy Abair and the Bone Shakers. So you also won what Independent Blues Award, including Artist of the Year and Best Blues Song Fan Award for Independent Music Awards. Now you were with a record label on some of those other CDs,
Yeah.
a couple of other ones. I think you were on more than one. But now this one, what's this? Pretty Good for a Girl? Is that your?
That's my record label.
Yeah, that's.
So I was on Verve Records for 3
Mm-hmm,
albums, and I was on Concord Records
mm-hmm,
for, gosh, I lost count, a lot of them.
mm-hmm,
But about 5 or 6 records ago, I decided to start my own. It's a
mm-hmm,
new world out there, and I really believe in owning what you do. And
mm-hmm,
one thing I learned from being with these major labels is it's awesome to have that machine behind you, but it's tough because as an artist, I write the
mm-hmm,
songs. I'm in the studio, I'm creating the sound, I am the
mm-hmm,
artist. I will
mm-hmm,
never own them. I will
mm-hmm.
never own my own music that I
Yeah.
recorded. And when I mean never, I mean Never. It's not like it goes back to my family in 75 years or anything. And that's a harsh reality. So I did a bunch of homework and figured out how to start my own label. And I called it Pretty Good for a Girl Records because I had a hit in the blues market. That was a song called Pretty Good for a Girl that Joe Bonamassa came and sat in for. And we play it every night on the road. And it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek look at being a woman in a man's world. And that's definitely where I've lived, most of my life. So I've loved making my own records and getting them out there to the world and owning my art. So I recommend it. If you can deal with the extra work, it's a beautiful thing.
Okay. So where's a lot of your inspiration come for you from your music? Is it
You know what?
experiences or is it?
Yeah, I mean, look at Pretty Good for a Girl.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, someone comes up after a show and they'll shake my hand and they'll say, wow, you're pretty good for a girl. And it's just interesting. People don't expect women to play certain instruments. Maybe we are known for, ooh, flute would be good for a girl, or you could definitely play guitar and sing, but saxophone, I don't think people expect a woman to go out and muscle around a saxophone or lead a blues band or a jazz band for that matter. And so it's been fun to change people's misconceptions about what a woman should do, what a woman should sound like, what a woman's band sounds like. And I've really embraced that as, kind of a quest. So I love that. And I love that I can be out there and hold the torch for women and maybe change some of those misconceptions.
And you were talking about how you are live shows and in the audience, but radio was uh, pretty much the same about playing jazz artists who happen to be women. And
Yeah.
before I start, I guess I've been spinning music for radio shows, maybe 5, 6 years. But I have been doing a smooth jazz listening list. Kind of started with Nick Coleon and
Yeah.
Hap and Rusty. So Nick would write, would send an email. This is what I'm listening to. So that's kind of how it started. And then I'd send Hap and I'd send those guys, well, this is what I'm listening to. And then it turned into a smooth jazz radio listening list that I sent out to
Love
all the
that.
artists. And so on my list, I would always do my research, find artists that just weren't male, just weren't saxophone players. Because I remember this one, flautist, flutist, she, Althea, I think she said she had took her CD to a DJ at a radio station, and he was kind of looking like, "You're a woman. This is a flute. Saxophones is it? Who gonna listen to this?" But just look how it turned out. And a couple of guys uh, had even when they sent out the email and they said, you know, the I guess around with Bobby Humphrey, I used to listen to Bobby Humphrey, so I kind of knew about the flute, Herbie
Yeah.
Mann, things like
Yeah. Herbie was
Hubert
great.
Laws, yeah. So he said the flute it had kind of faded out, but now there's 3 or 4, I think, at least 3 female flutists that have went to a number 1 and won awards.
No,
So
it's fun
I
to see
noticed,
women, making their
yeah,
way in many different genres. And
yeah,
it's a different voice that we're going to have than someone else is going to have. So one of these days, hopefully it's just a level playing field, no matter
yeah,
if you're a woman or man
yeah,
or black, white, gay,
yeah,
straight. Like it should
mhm,
be about, do you like my music?
mhm,
Do you like the way I play? Do you like
mhm,
my band? Do you like my
mhm,
records? So we're getting there. It'll
yeah,
happen.
yeah. And usually in March or something like that, I have I was doing playlist in March that basically, since that was Women's History Month, I would try to have mostly all, female jazz artists. And so, man, it's just so much music out now. And then I got down to at least an hour, about 2 hour show, because I was getting so much
Yeah.
new music, but I still do it. But I also announce that this is every day. It's just not from March. We just
Keep the
recognizing.
music playing, baby.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And so I remember the song that guitarist Joyce Cooling had,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think it says, "This girl can play."
Play.
And it was kind of the same thing where she was talking about they were expecting her to sing,
Right.
and they didn't know she can sing, but she also can play the guitar, and so they were kind of, you know, shocked because they thought she was gonna sing and play, well, she could play the guitar too. So
Yep.
that's kind of like my when I heard that song, I always would play it during that time because it would, uh, without me telling, explaining to the audience, you can listen to that song and see what's going on.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
now, besides all those awards you won, you are a creator, designer, and owner.
The president.
You have your own what wine tasting?
I have a wine and music company.
Yes.
And hey, look, I married a wine guy. So I've spent my
Okay.
whole life playing music and creating music, but my husband spent his whole life working in the wine industry and running really cool wineries. He ran Kendall Jackson and Mum Napa and just some super amazing wine companies. So we decided a few years ago that, look, we drink wine and inevitably I'm going to pair it with music. He'll bring home some amazing Cabernet and I'm like, ooh, this is like a strong red wine. This has got some punch. We're listening to soul music tonight. I'm
Oh,
putting on
okay.
Otis Redding and Ray Charles. That's what this pairs with. So we decided if we liked to do that, that other people would want to do it. So we started a membership club. And my husband knows all these winemakers and winery owners. He gets wine that no one else can get. You can't get it anywhere else in the world. So he finds great wines. I do the artwork that's all music centric, or get my friends to do the artwork. We've had some amazing rock star painters and cool contributors. And then I put a playlist with every wine. And the playlist, there's one wine called Harmony. And so it's all bands that sing in harmony from Boys to Men to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young to Fleetwood Mac. So every wine has its identity with a big music playlist. And we ship wine to our members 4 times a year, and it comes with the music, and it's just super fun. We go on adventures around the world. We're going as a group to Sonoma in June, and then we're going to Tuscany in November, and we take our members and, have a good time. It's good to drink and play and listen.
Now that one, I think you mentioned one, and I think I remember something about Brian Culberson with the, was that the Napa Valley or something wine?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that he
I know
has his own wine brand, but I know that
Okay.
he does a festival in Napa.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When you said that, that's why I remembered. I said, "Oh, well, that sounds familiar." So you've written a book also?
Yeah.
And so how did that come about?
You know what? My book is called How to Play Madison Square Garden. It's a
Mhm.
guide to stage performance.
Mhm.
And I realized that I've been in some pretty crazy positions in my life. I've spent my life touring as a solo artist and as what they call a sideman to other artists. And I've played everything from the street to, arenas with 100,000 people. I've been in such incredibly diverse situations. I've seen it all, from touring with Aerosmith to playing a night with Springsteen to, Duran Duran, Mandy Moore, Adam Sandler, jazz artists like Bobby Lyle and Jonathan Butler and Peter White and Dave Koz. So I feel like I've seen so much. I've seen every mistake made on stage that you can make. I've made them all. And I've seen people do things amazingly well. I've seen people just take over people's imaginations and just put on the most amazing show. But I remember when I graduated college, I expected people who were amazing musicians to then go on and have people want to buy tickets to their show and have them be these superstars. And it wasn't always the people who were the most talented that were selling tickets to their shows. And I didn't really get that, but I do now. And I think that you can teach people how to be a great performer and how to create a show that fits who you are as a performer, and connect with your audience and get more out of who you are, and have more fun doing it. So that's why I wrote the book. I think that it's totally teachable, and that everyone should think about that. We all learn how to play our instruments. Why would you not look at how to perform and be a better performer?
Okay. Now that you mentioned, I was kind of looking on Amazon, and I had the CD. I remember you played with them, but I had kind of forgot. And I said, "Oh yeah, Summer Horns."
That was the second Grammy nomination that we got.
Yes,
We didn't
yes,
win,
Summer
but I think
Horns.
we had more fun than anyone being nominated. And
Uh-huh.
we got to play at the Grammy premiere ceremony with Verdine White from Earth, Wind and Fire. He joined us, and it was just monumental. It
So
was
what
so
was
much
it?
fun to play with those guys and record.
So it was only one trumpet player, wasn't it? That was Rick Braun. Was he the only trumpet player? I think all the rest of you guys were saxophones, wasn't it?
Actually, the original Summer Horns that
Oh,
I was a
that's
part
right. It was
of
two of them.
it was Dave Koz,
Hmm.
Gerald Albright,
Hmm.
Richard Elliott, and
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
And we toured for 2 years and had a record called Summer Horns. And it was an unbelievable just experience. So actually this summer, I'm going back on the road with Summer Horns. It's going to be the third incarnation.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be Dave Koz, myself, Vincent Ingala, and Kirk
Oh, okay.
Whalum. So
Oh,
it's going to be a
okay.
blast.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
If you like
how many?
saxophone, this is the tour to come to. If you don't
Oh,
like saxophone, you shouldn't come to this show. It's
oh,
going to be a lot
oh,
of saxophone.
no, I like it. I like all of it. Yeah, I met all those guys. Now, so the question before we leave, Dave Coss. Now, did you get Dave Coss' email about his April Fool's joke?
Yes.
See, so you opened it.
Sure.
See, I didn't open it right away. I sent out an email and I was telling everybody, now y'all have to open this because I know he's trying to get me. Because the first time he sent out one, it was like 5 years ago. And so he said, somehow I got this new CD out. I said, Dave Cobb doesn't have a new CD out. I know he doesn't have a new CD because I checked. And so he's telling me it's called Sleeping, building everybody up. And then just when you thought he was ready to play, it showed him laying down, snoring, sleep. And so I I nicknamed him the jokester. See, so I had some jazz artists. Well, what did Dave Cobb do? So I sent him the email, and so I told him, I said, I always got to watch out for him on the first. And so I when I sent out the email, I told him, I said, I haven't opened it yet because he didn't get me because I was just about it. And then I said, what's the day?
You're like,
And I looked and saw the first. So you opened it, huh? So I'm gonna open it now since you already opened
You should
it.
have
But
fun
I
with
wasn't
it.
gonna open it the first because he would have thought he got me. And I was telling you, I said, "No, you're not gonna get me on that April Fool's stuff." But they say he always jokes, has
He's
jokes.
awesome. He's so much fun. He introduced me to my husband, Eric. He
Oh,
set
okay.
us up on a blind date. And then, when I married him years and years later, then he married us. So
Oh,
Dave
okay.
Koz is a purveyor of love as well as April Fool's jokes.
Okay. I just don't think about April Fool's joke. He had another one, and he had this little toy saxophone, little plastic saxophone, and he was riding around in the limo, and they were going to different places, and he was playing the saxophone. So,
Goofball.
and so I know he used to have a what do you call it? Well, when I interviewed Selena, she was getting in a car with her phone. I said, "Oh, I feel like Dave Coz now." When he did his little interviews and riding around town and things like that. Yeah. So Mindy, thank you. And we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do another one because we can get it all, everything You do. We
You
can
got a
get it
lot
all in.
in. Come on.
And
No,
so
this is
thanks
so much
for
fun talking to you. Thank you so much. And, it's fun to have a new record out there. So it's like, get the best of Mindi Abair out there. It's fun.
yeah. But when I saw that selection April, I said, "Oh man, I got to get it on because April's my birthday, and April's coming up, and Mr. Walker's birthday."
Hey, it's April now. It's been fun to put out a song called April in April. You have to watch the
Yeah.
music video though. Go on my
Oh,
YouTube page or on my
mhm,
Facebook page and watch the video. We shot it in this just beautiful place. It's just such a cool vibe and it's fun to listen. So but follow me on Facebook anyway because we put on Tuesday night music sessions free
okay.
on Facebook. So I've done 40 some shows now with everyone, that come and sit on my porch.
Mhm,
And so it's been Dave Cause and Rick Braun, Peter White, Ellis Hall, Patrick Bradley, Casey Abrams from American Idol, all
mhm.
kinds of cool people come over. So you never know what you're going to see, but follow me and you'll get the little, hey, Mindy's live.
Okay. And you also have a fan club for those who want to see what's going on, with a newsletter and a free iPhone app.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah.
go to
So
go to
Kansas City
Apple and you can
listeners,
get,
if you want to catch up on the latest from Mindi Abair, you can always catch up on her
yep. Go to
social sites.
mindyabair.com. That's where you can find all the stuff. And we actually have tour dates, which is crazy after this past year. So, hopefully we'll be making our way around the country soon, but the tour dates are actually popping up and they're real. And so, get on my email list at my website, mindyabair.com. So, when we're back in your area and we'll rock your world.
Okay, well,
Be so
thank you.
fun.
And you have a nice day. Thanks again for
Thank you
sharing with
so
us.
much.
All righty. And
See you soon.
I did send your, I'm on LinkedIn, so I did put that video on
Oh,
LinkedIn.
nice.
Yeah, you had
You found
first,
it.
oh, no, well, the promoter sent it to me. When your promoter sent it to me.
Oh,
So
nice.
first you had a introduction, and then you had like a full video or something like that. Yes.
Oh, well, there's an album trailer to the new record because it's
Okay.
kind of fun that, we've got video from when I'm super young all the way to, through now. So it's kind of a, watch me grow up
Yeah,
over 1 minute.
I think I sent that one too.
Yeah,
All
that one's a
righty.
fun one.
Well, you enjoy yourself in your nice, warm California weather.
I will.
All
And
right.
stay warm. All right. Stay warm
Uh,
and stay safe. Thanks for having me
okay.
on.
You too. Bye bye.